Making Dennis Reynolds a Murderer. Oh my God.
Did you watch the Making a Murderer
yes,
series?
I did.
I did not watch that
it.
At all.
And, we can get into that for a little bit because it's a very biased documentary.
Yeah, very much
and,
so.
There's a lot of misinformation and a lot of vagueness going on, and they definitely poke fun at that with this episode. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, no shit, are they really going to go there? And they totally did. They totally did, which, again, I'll say it again, and I've said it, every week now?
Yeah.
They're just going to do whatever they want in Always Sunny and make whatever type of episode they want. And you know what? More power to you guys for doing that, because you're keeping the show fresh. How many just adventures in the bar can you have? So I really like the direction that they're going with these last couple of seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Better than South Park, honestly.
Yeah. The end of serialization as we know it.
Right. Now, when do you think Always Sunny would ever start doing season-long story arcs?
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not.
It would ruin the series for me.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's not that they have an overarching story, but every single episode still happens.
It's all canon. It's all canon in the universe. Everything that happens
in every episode is why Rickety Cricket starts as a priest, Catholic priest, and now he's just a demented, hobbled fucking crack addict.
Right. So in this episode, Maureen Ponderosa is dead.
She's dead.
She has a broken neck. So no more of her, unless they bring her back as a ghost and tell a ghost story, which knowing them, they totally would do that. And they totally should. I would like to see Always Sunny horror film. But anyway, so Maureen Ponderosa is dead. Dennis is a suspect because of a phone call that he had played, and he's been paying her alimony, apparently,
because they got divorced several seasons,
right? Ago. But they weren't even married that long, were they?
They were married, I think, for one episode,
right? And he still managed to get a judgment against him for alimony.
Yeah,
how crazy is that? I mean, he deserves it because he's a piece of shit,
of course.
But I digress.
Yeah.
So basically, they're interviewing all the people involved in this investigation.
The lead detective guy and everybody in the gang.
And he's like, I understand if a man wants to be a woman or something, but a woman wanting to be a cat? Never seen anything like that.
And then they play the call that he made to Maureen where he's like, well, I'm going to be a dog.
How do you like that? Woof, woof. And he starts barking.
Are you uncomfortable now?
Well, I would assume if you were married to Dennis Reynolds, you would be uncomfortable a lot.
Pretty much all the time. Yeah.
But anyway, so they found her dead. And, they're interviewing Dennis because he's the main suspect. And he's not really doing himself any favors, but he knows that he didn't do it.
Of course.
Right. So they're playing back phone conversations, and they talk to Frank.
Yeah.
Which that's really where the episode starts to really take off.
Oh, yeah.
Because Frank admits in a phone call, or no, Frank calls him to start recording his calls. Because he's like, I don't think you did it, but if you did it, you
can tell Daddy.
You can tell me. And he's like, why are we talking on the phone? We never talk on the phone. And he's like, how about I talk about your sweatshop and all the people that died?
Your Vietnamese cannibalistic sweatshop.
Right. So, Dennis videotapes him. He has a little camera around his neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, this could be an IMAX camera, and this idiot wouldn't even realize it. And he videotapes Frank talking about the sweatshop, and he's like, we kill a cat, you just throw it in the soup. Kid dies, throw him in the soup. He's like, we were making money hand over foot. Literally. They lose a foot, just throw it in the soup. Feeding people to people. And he had his, and he's, doing this interview. And he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. As he's watching this videotape, he's like, oh, these are all lies. And so as he's going to the bathroom, he leaves and he hails a cab.
But his microphone is
still on. The cab, he's talking to him. He's like, yeah, I was just doing an interview where I admitted to a bunch of illegal stuff that I definitely did. And the guy's like, statute of limitations and everything. And he's like, what? You mean I can't be convicted of it? And he's like, oh, well, take me back around. They've got a nice spread over there, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So he comes back. And God, Frank Reynolds is, again, just a big piece of shit.
Oh, well, they all are.
Right. So Dennis's alibi is that he was with Mac watching a movie.
Yeah.
And
they were watching Operation Dumbo Drop.
Operation Dumbo Drop, and they wanted to do like a Mystery Science Theater thing on it, but Mac is just...
We do this thing where we make funny comments while we're watching the movie.
And he's like, you're not funny. And he's like, in fact, you just pause things until you come up with something to say, and then you end up doing Borat or
Austin Powers.
And he's like, get in my belly. Yeah, baby.
Those are two different characters.
He's like, but they're both Mike Myers. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my favorite scene is whenever they interrogate Charlie, because that was almost lifted very much out of the Making of a Murderer documentary. When they were talking to the dude, the main suspect guy's like nephew or something, he talks like that in the interview. He's like, yeah. He's like, did you choke her? He's like, yeah, I don't know. But Charlie's all fucked up on cat tranquilizers.
Cat tranquilizers. Special K or something.
Yeah, ketamine. And he's like, I broke her neck twice and put her in a pile driver and sleeper hold.
And he starts talking about wrestling.
What is it? Cripple Creek? This is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's like, Dennis told me not to tell you what's in the safe.
And so, of course, they go look in the safe.
Yeah. And he's got, like, in the safe, they find the safe, and he's got, like, cat toys and balls of yarn and cat tranquilizers, of course. And he's like, I just told her to leave her stuff here, and she would let me take a little bit off of rent or alimony. And then they found a hairball in her. He's like, that was your hair. He's like, yeah, well, I let her lick me.
Yeah, she wanted to groom me
for an extra $15 off.
Extra $15
of my alimony. And I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? I'd let someone lick me for $15. I'd let Maureen Ponderosa lick me for $15. She's kind of cute.
Yeah. I mean, until she had all the plastic surgery and started becoming a cat.
But they're all cute in the dark. Chris.
A fair point, I guess.
Anyway, to make a long story short, because there's really, we could just sit here and just go over every single thing that happens in the show. By the way, Dee is in it, and she's terrible. She has to play the...
The only reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going to play Maureen in this reenact.
In a cat suit. And I love how they spray her with water. And that's, I don't know.
Cats don't like water.
Anyway, it turns out that Mac and Dennis made this, or Mac and Charlie made this documentary. And it's funny because they kind of go over, he's like, you got to keep it vague. And, maybe in the 10th episode or something, we'll say that he didn't really do it. And he's like, we have security camera footage of her. She fell off a roof and broke her neck because she was prancing around like a cat. He's like, it was an open and shut case. Why is this even a thing? But he's like, maybe we'll talk about that in the 10th episode and everything, keeping it vague and making you have to, want to side one way or the other, which is really, the long and short of it is that's exactly what that Making of a Murderer documentary
Well, and it's
did.
what all of those true crime documentary type things that air on like True TV and shit like that. That's what all of those
right
are.
And if you think they're not biased, then you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
And you can't just take that one side of the story.
Well, it's
and
like
say,
legitimately all that Nancy Grace does.
Oh yeah, she's terrible.
Yeah.
She's a horrible person.
Yep.
Is she even still like doing news?
Probably.
I haven't heard anything about her for a while, but of course, since Trump got elected.
Well, that reminds me, we're not doing a last week in Trump's.
Well, he's just a terrible person.
Yeah,
and we have other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so that was Last Week in Always Sunny. What did you think of the episode? Should we keep doing these? Because I feel like we're just retreading what happened at the episode and not really giving like a whole lot of commentary on what exactly is happening.
Well, it's not so much that I think that we. Since really all we can do, because we can't like make predictions about this show, because this show is completely unpredictable.
Where are they going to go next? They already did a musical. They already did the 80s movie.
Yep.
I want to see him do like more of like a straight up horror movie, and then maybe like a gross out gore movie like Toxic Avenger style. How fun would that be?
Oh my god.
You could probably make a supercut of Always Sunny episodes and get something close to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what'd you think? Let us know.